Heyo, what is up, everyone? It's Zach. We're back with History Through Video Games. Today I am in Forza Horizon 4. We're in Edinburgh, and we're going to take a look at the cathedral, the Royal Mile, and a few other landmarks that are visible in this game, but you really can't go visit them simply because this game is centered around going places in cars. There's a lot of major landmarks that you can't actually get into. So we're just going to continue driving up the street here, and as the castle comes into view, I'm going to throw out some facts for it here. So Edinburgh is the first place I went to that was out of the country for me. I actually went to Glasgow and Edinburgh in the same trip, and it was just outstanding. Lots of things to explore, lots of history in that area. The castle, you can go, you pay a fee, but you can go and visit. There's museums within it. There's a lot of, you can see the old Great Hall. There's a chapel up top, but you can wander through the grounds and you get a lot of history within that area that is extremely interesting. There's a lot of architecture that is just fun to look at. It's been around as that structure for several hundred years. It is a fantastic castle, and I'm gonna go a little bit closer here to the edge, but you can see it is up above Edinburgh itself. It is a massive massive castle on top of a massive rock. It is just a very defensible spot, and that's why they built it there. So going back down the Royal Mile, and I'll kind of do a brief synopsis of everything at the end of what I've talked about. So going back down the Royal Mile, and I think it's a little bit longer than a mile as far as where it goes down to Holyrood Palace. But there are a few different cathedrals. The one that I want to talk about, because I've actually visited and gone into it, is St. Giles. You can see that spire, kind of a hollow spire coming up here. It's You can't get any closer than this in the game, but it is just a well built cathedral. It's a fun one to go in, look at all the stained glass. If you're in the area, it is worth the visit. Unlike some of the other cathedrals in the UK, I do believe you have to pay to visit this one. I really can't remember, though. There was a lot of places I visited on this trip, and everything kind of ran together, but it wasn't such a ridiculous price that it's standing out in my head, so there's at least that. But there are a few statues next to St. Giles Cathedral. So moving on further down the way, and I'm going to cut the video in here just because I got to go to the other side of Edinburgh, so bear with me. Alright, so we're on the other side of the train tracks now from where the castle is. We're actually coming up to the Nelson Monument and the National Monument of Scotland. So this is not a park that you're able to drive through in Forza Horizon, unfortunately, but you are able to see a lot of the features of what's over here. So the Nelson Monument actually had a time ball on it that would drop to signal out to the harbor for the ships, and so at 1 p.m. every single day, this time ball would drop. On foggy days, which in Scotland there's a lot of those, they weren't able to see it, so the castle actually added a 1 o'clock gun, which is fired precisely at 1 o'clock every single day other than Sundays and a few different holidays throughout the year. So that is something that if you go over there and you hear this massive cannon shot at 1 p.m., it's supposed to happen. It will happen literally every day unless you're there on a Sunday or a holiday. But that's just to tell the ships that are out in the harbor what time it is. If they don't have a clock on them, that's just a carryover from some traditional practices in the harbor there. So we're going to carry back over. I've got one other spot that I'm going to throw in here just because it is almost mentioned on this map, and it's a spot that I definitely like. There's one particular statue that I'm just fond of there, so we're gonna head over there right now. All right, so we are now back on the southern side of the castle. The castle is pointed pretty much right in front of my car right now, but this is a spot that I thoroughly enjoyed exploring in Edinburgh, and it is kind of visible, but it's the Greyfriars Kirkyard. So through these gates, there should be a essentially cemetery. But the part about this that I absolutely love is there is a statue of Greyfriars Bobby. I'm going to throw him in over top of this just because he's not modeled in the game. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have seen the little terrier modeled in the game here, but he just sits there. People have pretty much rubbed his nose golden over the years, but his owner passed away way back when and was buried in Greyfriars Kirkyard, and Bobby would visit the churchyard there, and there's a plaque commemorating Bobby because he stayed by his owner's graveside for as long as he could. He eventually was taken care of by the locals in that area, and when Edinburgh came up with some dog licensing laws, and they were going to exterminate essentially any unlicensed dogs, the people within that Greyfriars area all put together some money and registered Bobby as their dog, as a community dog, so that he was extremely well loved in the community. They put up that plaque. So that's just something that when I was over there, I didn't know the history of it until I visited, and thoroughly enjoyed learning more about just kind of that local history. And Edinburgh is definitely a extremely historically important city, but there's so much fun history to go and explore in this place. I'm just doing a super quick overview, guys. I mean, you could spend a few days here and not run out of things to do. One last place, and it's just a little bit outside of the city, but you can go visit it a little bit more in the game here. So we're going to run over there super quick. I'm going to throw a few more photos of my trip over top of it because I was actually able to get on top of this rock formation. So be right back. All right, so last place that we're going to look at, I've got my screen pulled up here. We are just on top of Arthur's Seat, overlooking the city of Edinburgh, and it is a fantastic hike. If you get the chance to go on top of Arthur's Seat there, for whatever reason it plopped me on down, so we're going to pop up the drone and fly back up there just because the Bentley does not want to go climbing any hills right now. But Arthur's Seat is just a volcanic crag, essentially. It's a hill similar to Castle Rock, where Edinburgh Castle is, and it has just a fantastic view overlooking the city of Edinburgh. But looking kind of where the drone's at right now, you can see that it's just rocky all over the place. It's very difficult to get up from one side here. That is the way that Castle Rock is also set up. It is just it kind of just juts up out of the ground, so it's very easy to climb up one side, but it is not so easy to go rock climbing on the other, and it is protected as well by some fences and everything. So it's a fun place to go hike and look out over the city. There's a few hidden gems of like old, I think they're like chapels. I really don't know though. They're just some old stone buildings that are along that hike. That's just it's a fun way to spend an afternoon. Great view over top. It was a little blustery when I went, so if you're wearing a ball cap, make sure you're either hanging onto it or it's attached to your head. But it's a fantastic spot to go view a wonderful city. You can actually go and see the Port of Leith just just off to the northeast from there as well. So you get a great overview of the whole area. So that's the last spot I wanted to visit in Edinburgh. Edinburgh, my gosh, last spot I wanted to visit in Edinburgh. Wanted to share with you guys. If you get the chance to go, do it. There's a ton of stuff to do around that area as well. Fantastic different restaurants and breweries, and the beer's great, and there's just a lot of stuff to do. Soccer, if you're into that, rugby is going on over there, so it's museums, all of the above. Go do it if you can. So that's the overview from me for Scotland, for the capital of Scotland, for Edinburgh. And if you guys like this video, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you can. I'm going to still be putting out videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's the plan right now. If you guys want to see that change, let me know. That's just kind of what works for my schedule. If you guys want to see more or less, let me know. I'm hoping it's more, not less, but we can adjust as we need to. So I'll catch you guys later, and have a good rest of your day.